Let me ask you something honestly. When's the last time you looked around your house and felt okay about it? Not proud of it, just okay? For a lot of people watching this, the answer is it's been a while. Not because you've stopped caring, but because somewhere along the way, your energy stopped cooperating with your standards. And nobody told you that was allowed to happen. I'm not here to give you a pep talk. I'm here to show you a system that actually works when your body doesn't feel like cooperating. And that means we're going to talk about things most cleaning videos completely ignore. This is the Senior Reset, where we deal with real life after 60, not the Instagram version of it. If you're new here, subscribe before we go any further, because next week I'm covering the 10-minute morning reset that works even when your joints are stiff from the moment you wake up. That one's going to be good. Don't miss it. But right now, let's talk about your home and how to stop letting it stress you out. Here's the honest truth about cleaning advice. Almost all of it was written for someone younger, healthier, and with a completely different body than the one you're working with right now. Someone with full mobility, a free Saturday afternoon, and no chronic pain waiting for them on the other side of mopping a floor. So when that advice doesn't work for you, it's not a personal failure. The advice was never designed for your reality. And this is where most people get it wrong. They keep trying to apply the same standard to a body that's changed, and then they feel guilty when the results don't match. That cycle is exhausting, and it's completely unnecessary. So I want to give you a different standard. Not a lower one, a smarter one. I call it the good enough clean. And I want to be clear about what that means, because it's not permission to let your home go. It's permission to stop measuring your home against a standard that was never designed for you in the first place. The good enough clean means your home is safe, reasonably hygienic, and doesn't cause you stress when you walk through it. That's the bar. Not spotless, not company ready at all times. Safe, clean enough to be healthy, and peaceful enough that you can actually rest in it without a running mental to-do list. Now I know what some of you are already thinking. You're thinking, I've heard this kind of thing before. Someone tells me to lower my standards and be kind to myself, and I feel better for about a day, and then I sit down with dishes in the sink and the guilt comes right back. I hear that. And I want to be honest with you. This video won't fix that feeling by the time it ends. Guilt doesn't respond to logic alone, it responds to a new habit that gradually replaces the old feeling. What we're building today is that habit. It won't feel different tonight, but over the next 2 or 3 weeks of actually using this system, it will start to shift. That's the realistic version of what this does. Now, the first practical shift I want you to make is this. Stop thinking about cleaning your whole house and start thinking about 5 specific zones. Most cleaning advice treats every inch of your home as equally important. It isn't. Some areas directly affect your health and safety, others are just about appearance. And when energy is limited, health and safety always come first. Here are the 5 zones in the order they actually matter. Zone 1 is your kitchen sink and counters. This is a bacterial hotspot. Food residue, moisture, and warmth create conditions for harmful bacteria faster than almost anywhere else in your home. A wipe down of your counters and a rinse of your sink isn't about aesthetics, it's about food safety. This one is non-negotiable, even on your lowest energy days. Zone 2 is your bathroom, specifically the toilet and the floor around it. The floor matters for one critical reason: fall prevention. A wet or cluttered bathroom floor is one of the most common causes of serious injury for people over 60. Keep that area clear and dry. A 2-minute toilet wipe is all the rest requires. Zone 3 is your bedroom sleep surface. This one surprises people. Your pillow, your sheets, your mattress. You spend 6 to 8 hours there every night. Dust mites accumulate faster than you think. And for anyone with respiratory sensitivities, which become more common with age, a dusty sleep surface directly affects the quality of your breathing and your sleep. Clean sheets and a weekly pillow shake genuinely matter more than a vacuumed living room carpet. Zone 4 is your main walking path, the route from your bedroom to the bathroom, from the bathroom to the kitchen, to your front door. Keep it clear, no stray shoes, no bags left on the floor, no cords crossing the path. This is fall prevention, and it is not a small thing. More seniors are seriously injured by tripping over items in their own home than by almost any other household cause. Zone 5 is air quality. This one doesn't look like cleaning, but it works harder than most things you could do with a mop. Opening a window for 15 minutes a day, running a small fan, keeping your air filter changed, these reduce dust, allergens, and stale air in ways that vacuuming a week later can never fully catch up with. Air quality is invisible, which is why we ignore it. Don't. 5 zones. Everything else in your home can wait until you have the energy for it. Now that you know where to focus, let's talk about how to make the actual work as effortless as possible. Because knowing what to clean means nothing if your body won't cooperate with how you're cleaning it. And this is where things start to change, because most cleaning advice completely ignores the physical reality of an aging body. They tell you what to do, but never account for the fact that bending over a tub for 5 minutes might cost you the rest of your day. The first shift has nothing to do with buying anything. It's about where you store what you already have. Right now, most people keep cleaning supplies under the sink, which means every time you want to wipe something down, you have to bend, dig around, and get back up. That small friction, that 30-second hassle, is genuinely enough to make you decide to do it later. Move your most used supplies to a shelf between your hip and your shoulder, somewhere you can grab without bending or reaching. This one change alone will increase how often you actually clean, because the barrier disappears. Second, long handle tools. A long handle mop, a long handle tub scrubber, an extendable duster. You should be able to clean 80% of your home without bending below your knees. If your current tools require kneeling or crouching, they are the wrong tools for your body right now. This isn't a permanent defeat, it's a practical adaptation, and practical adaptations are what make independent living sustainable over time. Third, spray and walk-away products. These are some of the most underused tools for seniors managing a home with limited energy. Automatic toilet tablets that clean your bowl with every flush. Shower sprays you apply at night that prevent soap scum without scrubbing. These don't eliminate the need for occasional deeper cleaning. You'll still need to do a real clean, periodically. But they cut down how often and how hard that cleaning needs to be. That's the whole point. Fourth is what I call the wipe station. A small container of cleaning wipes, or a few damp cloths in a sealed bag, kept in your kitchen, your bathroom, and wherever you spend most of your time. When something gets spilled or smudged, you handle it in 20 seconds instead of adding it to a mental list. Messes cleaned immediately never turn into the kind that take 20 minutes to scrub later. Fifth is the basket method for clutter. One small basket in your living space. Throughout the day, anything that doesn't belong gets dropped in it. Once a day or every couple of days on low-energy weeks, you carry it through the house and return things to where they live. You're not cleaning, you're just returning. But a house with clear surfaces feels dramatically cleaner than one that's technically mopped but covered in scattered items. None of these are complicated. What makes them work is doing them consistently. And I want to talk about what consistent actually looks like when your energy fluctuates, because that's where most systems fall apart. Now, here's where I want to slow down for a second, because I can already hear what some of you are thinking. This sounds reasonable when someone's explaining it, but I know myself. I'll feel motivated for a day or two and then go right back to how things are. That's fair. That happens. And I want to tell you why this particular approach is different. Not because I'm trying to convince you, but because the reason it works is structural, not motivational. Every task in this daily rhythm is attached to something you're already doing. You're not carving out a separate block of time called cleaning time. You're folding small actions into movement you're already making. Here's what it looks like in practice. 10 minutes total, scattered across your natural day. While you're standing at the kitchen sink in the morning, you're already there for coffee or breakfast. Take 2 minutes, wipe the counter, rinse any dishes sitting in the basin, wipe the stovetop if you cooked. You're already standing there. The motion is minimal. The result is a kitchen that won't grow into a bigger problem by afternoon. While you're sitting at the kitchen or dining table at some point in your day, take 2 minutes, sort any mail or papers that have piled up, throw away obvious trash, return 1 or 2 things that don't belong on the table. You're sitting, your body is resting, your hands are doing something small and manageable. On your natural path to the bathroom, you're going anyway. Add 60 seconds. A quick wipe of the toilet seat and rim with a disposable cloth. A glance at the floor for anything that shouldn't be there. You didn't make a special trip. You folded a cleaning task into movement you were already making. Before you settle in for the evening, 2 minutes standing. Shoes away from the walking path, couch cushions straightened, any cups or glasses returned to the kitchen. The goal is simply that when you wake up tomorrow, the first thing you see is order, not chaos. That matters more than you might think for how your morning begins emotionally. And the commercial break clean, if you watch television in the evening, every commercial break is a 2-minute window. One small task per break. Return something to its room, wipe a surface, toss something in the trash. If you skip it, nothing happens. If you do it, something is better than it was. 10 minutes scattered, attached to what you're already doing. No reserved energy block, no willpower required. Will you do it perfectly every day? No. Some days, you'll skip all of it, and that is completely fine. The rhythm doesn't punish you for missing a day. It just picks back up the next one. That's what makes it sustainable over weeks and months, which is the only timeline that actually matters for how your home looks and feels. Let's pause here for just a moment. If you've been nodding along, if something in this video is landing differently than the cleaning advice you've heard before, that's exactly why this channel exists. The Senior Reset is for people over 60 who are tired of being handed advice that doesn't fit their actual life. If this is your first time here, subscribe right now and leave a comment below. Tell me which zone is your biggest struggle. Is it the kitchen, the bathroom, the clutter on every surface? I read every single comment, and your answer genuinely helps me make better videos for you. Now let's finish this. Everything we've covered so far assumes you have some energy. But what about the days when you genuinely don't? When getting from the bedroom to the kitchen feels like a real accomplishment? When a flare has knocked you flat, or your medication is making you foggy, or the weight of a hard week has left you with nothing left to give? This is where most advice either abandons you or talks down to you. We're doing neither. First, I want to name something directly. A messy house during a pain flare is not a character flaw. It is a symptom. When your body is managing inflammation, fatigue, or acute pain, it is making triage decisions about where to send your limited energy. Housekeeping is correctly ranked at the bottom. Your body is not failing you, it is prioritizing you. So on those days, we use the 3-item rule. Walk into the room where you spend the most time, find 3 things that are out of place, put them away, then stop, sit down. You're done. That is the whole rule. Not 3 rooms, not 3 tasks, 3 items. Here is why this matters beyond the obvious. When everything feels overwhelming, the brain moves toward paralysis. You look at the whole mess, you can't figure out where to start, so you do nothing. And then you feel worse for doing nothing. The 3-item rule breaks that paralysis. It gives you a clear start and a clear finish with almost no physical cost. And more often than not, once you've put away 3 things, you'll find yourself doing a few more, not because you pushed yourself, but because a small amount of momentum is its own gentle motivator. If even 3 items is too much, then the only thing I want you to do is clear your main walking path. Bedroom to bathroom, bathroom to kitchen. That's it. Fall prevention is the floor. Everything else can genuinely wait. Now, I want to stay on something for a moment because I think it deserves more than a quick mention. Asking for help. A lot of people in their 60s and 70s grew up in households where doing everything yourself wasn't just a value, it was a requirement. You didn't ask for help because there wasn't always someone to ask, or because asking felt like being seen as incapable, or because your parents modeled quiet endurance and you absorbed that as the right way to be. I'm not going to tell you that was wrong. It got you here. But there's a version of that same strength that looks different at this stage of life. It looks like recognizing when a task is costing you more than it's worth and making a clear-eyed decision about it. Asking a grandchild to run a vacuum when they visit. Telling a neighbor you'd appreciate help moving something heavy. Looking into whether your city or county has a senior services program, many do, and they offer free or low-cost home assistance that most people never access simply because they didn't know it existed. That is not giving up your independence, that is protecting it. Because the people who preserve their independence the longest are almost never the ones who refused all help. They're the ones who knew exactly when to accept it. Now let me pull everything together with the last idea. And this one came directly from thinking about how my own energy actually behaves, and how useless a fixed schedule feels when your body doesn't follow a fixed schedule. Instead of a cleaning schedule, think of it as a cleaning menu. A schedule assumes you'll feel the same on Tuesday as you did last Saturday. A menu assumes you won't and gives you the right option for where you actually are today. Here's how it works. On a green day, a day when your energy is solid, your pain is manageable, and you feel like yourself, you do the full 5-zone clean. Counters, bathroom, sleep surface, walking path, air quality. It takes 40 to 45 minutes at most if you're using the tools and the rhythm we talked about. You'll feel genuinely good afterward. Bank that feeling. On a yellow day, when you have some capacity but not full capacity, when you're a little stiff or a little foggy but functional, you do zones 1, 2, and 4, kitchen, bathroom, and walking path. 20 minutes, the non-negotiables, the things that keep you safe and healthy. You don't do everything, but you do what matters most. On a red day, when your body's telling you no clearly and loudly, you do the 3-item rule, or you clear your walking path and you forgive yourself completely for the rest. You make a cup of tea, you sit somewhere comfortable, and you let the house be imperfect for one more day. It will still be there tomorrow. You are more important than it is. Green, yellow, red. You decide each morning which day it is. No guilt for getting the answer right. Your home doesn't have to be perfect to be a place of peace. That's the one sentence I most want you to carry out of this video. Not a tip, not a tool, just that. Your home doesn't have to be perfect to be a place of peace. You've built a life, you've kept yourself going through things that would have broken a lot of people. If your bathroom floor went unmopped for 2 weeks because your knees were bad, that is not a failure. That is you managing your finite energy with the kind of wisdom that only comes from actual lived experience. The Senior Reset exists because too many people over 60 are carrying silent, unnecessary guilt about exactly this. And we're going to keep making videos that help you put that guilt down, practically, honestly, and without judgment. If today's video helped you in any way, share it with one person in your life who needs to hear this. Not for the views, but because they probably haven't heard it yet and they need to. Subscribe to the Senior Reset. Not because you need more content in your feed, but because you deserve content that was made with your actual life in mind. And before you go, leave me a comment right now. Tell me, green day, yellow day, or red day today. No judgment either way. I just want to know where you are. I'll see you next week. Take care of yourselves.